Greetings, fellow Taoists, and welcome back to Donghua family. It is said in the cultivation world that only when one steps into the nascent soul realm does the story of a record of a mortal's journey to immortality truly enter its most glorious and spectacular phase. The nascent soul stage is considered a peak milestone. Once a cultivator breaks through, they undergo a complete metamorphosis. At that time, HanLi, regardless of his mental state, divine abilities, physical body, or temperament, had reached a state of perfection. From direct magical combat to life-preserving methods, everything ascended to an entirely new level. Today, let us, this humble one, recount the heaven-shaking and earth-shattering achievements to see just how terrifying the power of old Devil Han had become after he advanced to the nascent soul stage. His inaugural battle after condensing his nascent soul was against the Ghostwood Nascent Soul. Although his opponent was only at the early nascent soul stage, his divine abilities were nearly at the mid-nascent soul level, and he had even contended with other cultivators of the same stage. However, as soon as they crossed blows, the Ghostwood Nascent Soul was easily suppressed by HanLi's evil-warding divine lightning, utterly powerless to resist. Following that was his participation in the trade assembly at Heavenly Star City. By then, he had just become an elder of the Drifting Cloud sect alongside Qing Tianquan and Lu Luo. In their eyes, HanLi was merely a water-filled cultivator, the type who only focuses on arduously cultivating his realm while neglecting divine abilities. To probe HanLi's true strength, Lu Luo forced him to accompany his concubine to the trade assembly. Along the way, the group encountered Marquis Nangong, a great cultivator at the mid-nascent soul stage. Lu Luo was exceptionally respectful towards the senior, referring to himself as a junior. However, Marquis Nangong paid him no mind and, on the contrary, suddenly demanded to compete with HanLi using their spiritual sense. The Marquis had no particular interest in this, but needed a teammate with powerful spiritual sense to search for a secret treasure. Upon hearing the demand to duel with spiritual sense, a contest even more dangerous than magical combat, where a light loss meant severe injury and a heavy one meant the soul scattering and dispersing, Lu Luo turned pale with fright and intended to intervene. But HanLi remained completely unfazed and calmly accepted. When they clashed, he didn't even use his full power, yet was able to match Marquis Nangong evenly. Witnessing this, Lu Luo's eyes went wide in disbelief. In reality, thanks to the enhancement from the Great Development Art, HanLi's spiritual sense, though not yet at the late-stage level, was not far from it. Thus, he successfully joined the treasure-seeking team. During the expedition, the group encountered cultivators from the Milan tribe, individuals whose strength far exceeded that of cultivators at the same level. HanLi took the initiative to stop, as he was still unclear about his own current strength. Having finally found a rare opportunity for actual combat, he naturally had to test himself. During the fight, he used his wind and lightning wings to approach an opponent in a flash, then unleashed his azure ice flame, instantly destroying the spell warrior's physical body. The nascent soul of that person barely managed to preserve its life thanks to the blink divine ability. Later, a nascent soul cultivator from the ghost spirit sect was frozen by his azure ice flame. Normally, this ice flame only destroys the physical body without harming the nascent soul. However, this cultivator, unwilling to be imprisoned, frantically urged his magic treasure to break the ice. In the process, his nascent soul accidentally touched a lingering wisp of the ice flame and was instantly and completely refined. HanLi was completely unaware that he had unintentionally achieved a rare feat, the complete and utter extermination of a cultivator of the same stage. If news of this were to spread, it would surely cause a great shock, because cultivators who reach the nascent soul stage all have their own life-preserving methods. Defeating them is possible, but completely annihilating them is exceedingly difficult. On his way back, he happened to hear that Nangong was about to be married off. This news filled him with a killing intent that soared to the heavens. He immediately rushed to the Masked Moon sect, traveling day and night without rest. There, the great elder of the Masked Moon sect, a mid-nascent soul stage sword cultivator of extraordinary strength, became his greatest obstacle. But in the end, the elder was subdued by the combined efforts of HanLi and Nangong. When the Milan tribe invaded the Heavenly South region, during the battle at Yellow Dragon Mountain, he first slayed the Een-sifting sect's heavenly crying and heavenly killing cultivators, then confronted Gu Shuangpu from the Mulan side. Gu Shuangpu unleashed the forbidden spirit-binding art, merging with his spirit pet to form a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering monster. Yet, with a mere wave of his hand, HanLi's azure ice flame instantly froze the monster. Then, his evil-warding divine lightning poured out in torrents, causing the monster's nascent soul to completely dissipate after a series of screams. Immediately after, the Milan divine sages appeared, true late nascent soul stage experts. When an early nascent soul cultivator faces them, they have absolutely no ability to resist. Even escaping is impossible. However, relying on his wind and lightning wings and blood shadow evasion, HanLi managed to miraculously survive. This situation caused the divine sages to lose a great deal of face, having used their full power, yet failing to capture a mere early nascent soul cultivator. To save face, they loudly proclaimed, HanLi's strength has far surpassed the scope of an ordinary mid-nascent soul stage cultivator. When this news reached the heavenly south, HanLi's fame instantly resounded everywhere. In the decisive battle on the grasslands, the Mulan side used their trump card, summoning a spirit transformation stage peacock with an ancient lamp. The heavenly south side dispatched 9 great nascent soul cultivators in a joint effort, but could only barely defend themselves. Just as the heavenly south side was in a desperate situation, the spirit transformation peacock suddenly vanished. It turned out that HanLi had already snuck into the enemy camp and secretly stolen the ancient lamp, resolving the crisis. He was, without a doubt, the greatest hero of this battle. After the Great War, the 4th elder of the Ain-sifting sect ambushed Nangong, demanding that HanLi trade his green bamboo cloudwind swords for an antidote. Believing the mastermind was the Ain-sifting sect's master, a late-stage expert, HanLi upgraded his set of flying swords, fusing them with the rare Gung Gold. This finally allowed him to unleash the great divine ability from the Azure Essence sword art, the Great Gung Gold sword formation. When he arrived at the meeting point, the 4th elder was overjoyed to see the 36 flying swords, secretly mocking HanLi's foolishness and arrogantly declaring, "Even if you stand still, your sword light cannot harm this old man." HanLi, however, wore a peculiar expression and said respectfully, "Fellow Taoist is absolutely right." Then he added, "This junior wishes to ask a question. Is fellow Taoist a late nascent soul stage cultivator? If not, then go die." The moment his words fell, countless streams of swordlight swarmed forward like a broken hornet's nest. The 4th elder hastily brought out his defensive magic treasures, but all of them were easily shredded by the swordlight. Even the sect-guarding treasure, the Ghost's banner, could not withstand the assault. The 4th elder's physical body was destroyed, and his nascent soul was captured alive by HanLi. After stepping into the nascent soul stage, HanLi had become an almost omnipotent existence. Thanks to the Azure Essence sword art, his magic power was nearly double that of others at the same stage. In terms of spiritual sense, the great development art allowed him to approach the level of a late-stage cultivator. In terms of speed, both his wind and lightning wings and the newly comprehended blood shadow evasion were supreme life-preserving techniques. In terms of divine abilities, his Azure Ice Flame and Great Gung Gold sword formation could be said to be invincible within the same realm. Furthermore, with the guidance of the Great Development Divine Monarch, a living fossil, he had far surpassed his peers in both knowledge and experience. When Devilfall Valley opened, the Ghost Spirit sect brought disaster upon itself by releasing a sealed ancient devil. Facing the soul of the ancient devil, a terrifying existence that could instantly devour the nascent soul of any ordinary cultivator upon contact, HanLi did not retreat an inch. Despite the perilous situation, he still managed to gain the upper hand. Unfortunately, the battle was too intense and tore open the entrance to the Spirit Ether Garden, pulling both of them inside. There, the ancient devil's soul was completely destroyed by an ancient restriction. It was also within the Spirit Ether Garden that HanLi successfully broke through to the mid-nascent soul stage. From this point forward, HanLi officially entered a period of massacring in all directions, continuously breaking through realms and achieving glorious feats that shook the entire cultivation world. That is the entire content of this video. Thank you, fellow Taoists, for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give Donghua family a like and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.